sword. In the darkness. The wound is burning. Sargeras.
Welcome back to a speculation, kind of reflective World of Warcraft piece looking into the future of WoW. Patch 7.3.2 was released on the PTR, and spoiler warning, big spoiler warning up front. If you don't want to know what's happening, stop watching this video, because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, some speculation, but also some factual pieces that we know, including the image that is on the screen. So if the image is already too much, stop watching. If not, you've been warned. I'm Rage.
I'm Sage.
And we're here to discuss WoW's future. Patch 7.3.2 hit the PTR. There was a lot of audio files in there. Illidan talking to Malfurion and Tyrande. You can find that kind of stuff over on MMO Champion, which we have here, all the 7.3.2 stuff. And you can look up all that kind of stuff whenever you want. Wowhead also has a great 7.3.2 clip as well. So I'll let you look into that. The interesting fact is a dialogue that comes from Khadgar, where he's saying, hero, in Sargeras' last-ditch effort, so to say, he has done massive damage to Azeroth. Go now to Silithus and see it for yourself. And so that's what our map's over here right now.
Yeah, this is Silithus right next to Ungoro Crater in AQ20, AQ40.
Ungoro Crater, there's the whole outer wall. There's the road that leads into the zone. This is AQ2040, the gates. This is Silithus. Look at how massive this wound is. And so, in Sargeras' last-ditch effort, what Sage and I are contemplating is that in a last-ditch effort, Sargeras tried to tap into the power of Azeroth, because he's a Titan. Azeroth is a World Soul, a Titan Soul as well.
Rumored to be the strongest of the Titans, in fact.
Exactly. So if you're losing the battle on Argus, you might come here, stab Azeroth with your sword, create a wound that looks like this, and try to access the lifeblood. Now, why do we bring up the lifeblood? Because the original first wound that Azeroth ever suffered was when Aman'Thul ripped out the old god Sargeras from Azeroth, and from that spilled forth the lifeblood of Azeroth's World Soul and created the Well of Eternity.
Yeah, which later became the Maelstrom.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you remember, the Legion originally was going to use the Maelstrom to come into the world way many thousands of years ago in Azeroth's history. So the Legion's had its eye on the lifeblood of Azeroth for a while.
Yeah, this is not a new development. I mean, goes back to pretty much the beginning of WoW lore.
Exactly. So this is something that Sargeras and the Legion have been after to begin with. And so why would he stab it and try to access that lifeblood for power? Because we're talking about power that create the Well of Eternity. We're talking about power that reshaped all of Azeroth's literal landmass from just one mass Kalimdor to everything.
Yeah, the Sundering.
The Sundering. We're talking about that kind of power. If I was Sargeras and I was losing the battle, I would choose to try to tap into Azeroth's power too while she's still a sleeping World Soul, so to say.
Yeah, kind of try to supercharge himself in Argus.
Yep.
Because, you know, if you're losing, you're going to pull any last-ditch effort to win.
And for people who aren't familiar with lore, Sargeras is a big enough person, titan thing that when he first came across the first World Soul being corrupted, when he was a part of the Pantheon, it was still good. When he came across the first World Soul being corrupted and he saw it, he decided it was better to end that World Soul's life than to spare it and let the old gods and the Void Lords take it. And he cleaved a planet in half with his sword.
Just one swipe.
Cleaved a planet. So if he wants to stab Azeroth to kill her, he could have done that.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He created a wound in Silithus to access maybe her lifeblood. And maybe gain some power. That's our speculation. But also, I don't think it's a coincidence, and you saw me kind of flip to that image earlier, I'm going to go back to it here, the shape and color of this wound here. Remember, Cthulhu was only in a prison down here. When we fought him, we fought maybe a portion of him, a portion of his power, a part of him that was trying to get out of his prison. We have no idea what is really going on deep underneath the surface of Azeroth.
Yeah, Cthulhu, remember, it was the eye of Cthulhu. Just a fraction of him. Well, old gods are considerably bigger than we even know. think about it. The act of ripping one out created the maelstrom inadvertently.
Yeah, the Well of Eternity maelstrom. Something that size.
The maelstrom is not a small place. It's not a little blemish. It's a big old hole in the middle of the ocean.
Yep. And so, Well of Eternity, that kind of power, that kind of wound. Look at the shape and size of this. Look at this. Yellow, dark void, kind of purple all around with that shape. Look at how close the wound in Azeroth looks like Cthulhu's Eye. And so Sargeras stabs it, but was this all, to quote the Joker from Batman, it's all part of the plan?
I'm thinking this is more than just, oh, it's a coincidence, you know. Swords just naturally look like that and such, but you can, you know, you could really make an argument that the location, the coloring, the shape, I don't think this is just all, you know, random coincidences paired together. I think Blizzard's building towards something.
Which leads us to our next part of the discussion. There's another eyeball that shares the same shape as Cthulhu that you fight in the Emerald Nightmare raid. And so, as we switch subjects here in the video, I want to talk about the fact that when you enter the Emerald Nightmare to fight Il'gynoth, and he gives you his whispers, and players have speculated over what all the whispers mean throughout all of Legion, and now I think we're getting closer and closer to seeing what was really planned. And Sage brought up an interesting point, and that was that you fight Il'gynoth in the Nightmare in what looks like Ungoro Crater.
Yeah, the actual location up on your minimap even says Ungoro Crater.
So, this is Ungoro Crater, which is right next to Silithus, the place that looks like a giant Cthulhu Eye now. And so, I think we're going to be dealing with some old gods next expansion, for certain. But let's talk about the plan and how all of us, really, were a pawn in a very big meta game that the old gods were playing. Il'gynoth's Whispers.
Yeah.
One by one here, we're going to talk about these, but we'll probably veer off a little bit as we get into each one. And so I want to start with the first one that he whispers, which, flesh is his gift, he is your true creator. And this is talking about Yogg-Saron.
Yeah, the gift of flesh.
The curse of flesh.
The curse of flesh.
Exactly, but I mean, a gift in this sense, as Il'gynoth talks about it.
One person's curse is another person's gift.
There you go. But originally, Yogg-Saron cursed the Titan creations, the dwarves, and some of the other races, with the curse of flesh, so that their armies could actually be wounded, killed, stopped. Corrupted even. And so, we're talking about Yogg-Saron. And on the subject of Yogg-Saron, I want to talk about Magni Bronzebeard. And so, we're going to skip down one whisper here in the order that they usually read them in. But the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. Obviously, we're talking about Magni. He's a king. He literally looks like he's made of diamonds now since he's reawoken.
Yeah.
And where did he start claiming to hear Azeroth? Well, below Ironforge when he was trapped in Diamond. But then he travels up to Uldar.
Yeah, which is, as many people know, that's the prison of, I don't know, Yogg-Saron, the old god.
And if there was one of the old gods that's the most mischievous, planning, whisper in people's ears, making them do things, it's Yogg-Saron.
We're talking the guy whose blood managed to corrupt mindless ghouls.
Yeah, exactly. The Lich King was building Icecrown Citadel, and mindless ghouls with no brain at all could go insane just from being around his corrupted blood in Serenite.
So we've got Magni inside that guy's prison. I don't think that there's going to be, you know, perfectly fine habitat right there.
Exactly. Was it Azeroth talking to Magni at all to get all these balls enrolling? Because remember, Legion started because of what Magni was saying. We went on an original quest into Uldar with Khadgar and Magni. It's like, oh, we gotta go, the Legion's coming, and everything else like that. Was that Azeroth that told you that, Magni? Or was this all of the balls started rolling for this expansion because of Yogg-Saron whispering to you? The King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. Il'gynoth is a servant of the old gods. He's like an Emerald Nightmare reflection of the old gods. And so he says the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. We take it a step further. You see in the pre-launch quest for the current patch 7.3 that we're on, Magni has you come on a quest. And when you go on that quest, you go into the heart of Azeroth, but you do it through Northrend, again, where Yogg-Saron is, and you go into this chamber where you can hear, quote-unquote, Azeroth's heartbeat. You purge it from some nightmares, restore some stuff, and one of the NPCs says that Azeroth has an arrhythmia, which means an irregular heartbeat.
Yeah.
Is that because Azeroth is wounded and scared and it has an arrhythmia? Or is it not even Azeroth's heart?
Or it could be Azeroth's heart already showing signs of corruption.
Exactly. Damage. So Magni says he hears Azeroth talking to him, and he says, there's sand soaked in blood, rivers of so much blood, Sargeras, we have to stop him. So we go off to Argus to stop him, because Azeroth, quote-unquote, told us to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Azeroth.
And for anyone skeptical, thinking, well, we killed Yogg-Saron all the way back in Wrath of the Lich King. You kinda did, but remember, killing an old god would pretty much kill Azeroth. Yogg ain't dead, guys.
Oh yeah, he just got shoved back into his prison. He got weakened, he got defeated, but he isn't dead. So maybe Yogg-Saron is the one whispering to Magni, because all these whispers come in Northrend. And maybe all this is to get to that end game, to get Sargeras where it is. So let's keep reading some of these whispers here. The Lord of Ravens will turn the key. Illidan holds the keystone, but it is Khadgar who's kind of pseudo taken over Medivh's spot.
Yeah.
He's not the Guardian, but he transforms in and out of a raven. He has Atish, this raven staff. If there's someone we're going to say is the Lord of Ravens, we would say it is Khadgar now.
Yeah, he's kind of top billing for that one.
Exactly. Illidan holds the keystone at the end of the Tomb of Sargeras raid when we kill Jaden and we need to warp back. But it is Khadgar who opens the portal unknowingly that Illidan has a plan to put these two planets in reach of each other so we can get there. But it is Khadgar who turns the key, so to say.
Yeah. So the Lord of Raven will turn the key. I think that one's already come to pass.
Yep. The King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. I think he's already been made a pawn. I don't think Azeroth was talking to him at all.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bit further. The boy king serves at the master's table. 3 lies he will offer you.
Now, I'll fully admit, I don't think this one's actually come to happen yet. It might have, but I think they're talking about Anduin, because I can't think of any other boy king.
Exactly.
But what lies?
Yeah, we have not seen these yet. We don't know what figurative. Obviously, I'm going to use the word figurative because none of this is literal.
Yeah.
It's all very figurative, but it does become literal.
Yeah.
So Anduin is up to something whether Anduin knows it or not.
Yeah.
I can't think of another boy king. Neither can Sage. Most people agree this is talking about Anduin, but we haven't seen this come true. So maybe this is future yet, even into patch 8.0. Let's go down to the next one. Her heart is a crater, and we have filled it.
So this one has been speculated since it came out. Is it Jaina? Is it Sylvanas even?
Mm-hmm.
Is it even, what's her name from the Nighthold raid?
Oh, Illisant?
Illisant, yeah.
Yep.
People even speculated it was her. But I think we know the answer now.
Yeah, her heart is a crater. Well,
That's a crater.
and her lifeblood spills out of it. Azeroth is what Il'gynoth was talking about.
And-
Azeroth's heart is a crater, and they have filled it. They being the old gods.
Well, let's look at this. Silithus, AQ40, Cthulhu. Who is positioned just right to take advantage of this wound?
Him.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Well, and what will happen when a wound that size with Titan blood goes spilling out? Is that going to like supercharge Cthulhu back to life? Fully? At full power?
Maybe even beyond that.
Exactly. So going back to Il'gynoth Whispers, her heart is a crater. That's Azeroth. We have filled it. The old gods have filled that heart. We're going to find out soon enough. 5 keys to open our way. 5 torches to light our path.
I'm pretty sure we know that this is talking about the pillars.
The Pillars of Creation. Hunting down the Pillars of Creation was the ultimate purpose to get into the tomb so that we could access the tomb, to fight off Kil'jaeden, to close the Legion's portal. But through that fight, old gods have placed Magni to talk to us, to get us to go to Argus. And how does all this get set on its way? By the 5 Pillars of Creation. We collect them, we use them, we fight Kil'jaeden. They know we'll get there. They know we'll go to Argus. They've plotted every step of the way, the old gods. If you go with our theory here, that the old gods have been manipulating us from the start. Every action between the Legion and the heroes of Azeroth has been a manipulated, calculated move by the old gods. So the 5 torches to light their path, that's their path to Azeroth.
Yeah.
Is to get Sargeras, as we covered in our previous clip, to wound Azeroth, to let them back out somehow.
Yeah, because if you supercharge Cthulhu back to life, how long do you think it's going to take him to start trying to break out his buddies?
Oh, exactly. And Enzof's never been in prison. I mean, maybe he's in prison. We don't know.
I think he's imprisoned by the Titans, but he's still full strength.
Exactly. We've never even fought him or defeated his avatar, quote unquote. So let's go to the next one. At the hour of her 3rd death, she will usher in our coming. People speculated about this too.
Yeah.
They thought it was Sylvanas. You know, she killed herself jumping off Icecrown. She had another death in there when Arthas originally killed her.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, oh, her 3rd death. No, not Sylvanas.
Well, I heard Jaina with metaphorical deaths. The first one was when Arthas turned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had a close bond. Second one was when Theramore got bombed.
Mm-hmm.
2nd death. 3rd death was yet to come.
And so we get to this, Azeroth's 3rd death. You see, Azeroth had her 1st death when Yasharaz was ripped out and the Well of Eternity was created.
Yeah.
Azeroth had her metaphorical 2nd death during the Cataclysm.
When Deathwing tore apart the entirety, pretty much.
Yeah, and came ripping out of the Maelstrom, did damage all over Azeroth's planet, the face of the planet. And now, when Sargeras stabs her, at the hour of her 3rd death, she will usher in her coming. By her strength, by her blood, her Titan blood, we will have the strength to come back. And then let's go to the next line here, because this goes back into the Sargeras thing. From the earth he draws strength, our earth, our strength. Sargeras stabs Azeroth in a last-ditch effort, as we covered in our previous video, to access her Titan blood, which is full of power, which created the first Well of Eternity. In a last-ditch effort, when things were going wrong for him and Argus, he comes down, stabs her to get the power. He goes into the earth to draw strength, Azeroth. But the old gods say it's our earth.
Our strength.
Our strength. So they've been plotting this the whole time. See how they take ownership of this action and what happens there?
Yeah.
And then the last one, its surface blazes bright, masking shadows below.
Well, we know that the Titan blood, Well of Eternity, it's a bright, shiny, literally bright place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's underneath Silithus and AQ? Cthulhu.
More importantly, Azeroth's surface as a whole shines bright.
Yeah.
And so we think, oh, the world soul's okay, it's not darkened, it's not corrupted. We don't know that.
No.
The world soul could already be corrupted. And when we stab this wound, we're letting it all out. And so it shines bright, but it masks the shadows below. And now the shadows are exposed as we go forward with the wound that has been in Azeroth. And so this just becomes one big play that they've been at the whole time. We get you to fight the Legion. We get the Legion to come here. We get you to go after him with the Pillars of Creation. We get you to go to Argus. We know that you're going to push Sargeras far enough to come down here to do this. We predict that he's going to stab the planet. When he does, that lifeblood will be released, and we are back in the game, baby.
Coming for round 2.
And so Yogg-Saron, I think maybe we'll see him play in the next expansion. We'll see Cthulhu play in the next expansion. We'll probably see Enzoth play in the next expansion. It's literally going to be fight for your life. The old gods are back. The Black Empire's going to be rebuilt, possibly. And we're going to have hell on wheels to deal with on Azeroth.
And don't think this time you're going to be fighting the Eye of Cthulhu, or this piece of Yogg. You're going to be fighting Cthulhu, and Yogg, and Enzoth.
Well, and the other thing to end on this video that we haven't talked about is ultimate plans. The Pantheon is being raised by Sargeras in patch 7.3.5 or 0.2 to be evil versions of themselves that Sargeras is going to use for his Burning Crusade. When we imprison Argus, the Pantheon helps us, we free them, but the Pantheon stays behind to lock up Sargeras with Illidan to eternally jail them. We don't have Titan help anymore to deal with the old gods.
No.
Everything that has held the old gods at bay so far is the Titans. Which, what does that say? One more plan. All the way back to when Sargeras first saw the first World Soul corrupted, cut it in half, went after the Pantheon, they get into a fight, Sargeras cuts them all down, and now the Pantheon is weakened. The only thing that held the old gods at bay from taking over Azeroth was eliminated a long time ago, and now re-imprisoned and can't help us.
Yeah, so we are on our own against one of the biggest threats in WoW lore.
Bigger than the Burning Crusade even at this point, because this is an enemy who has been playing the long game from the beginning.
They knew they couldn't beat Sargeras in a head-to-head fight. There's no way. He could cleave them in half. But if you can't beat them with strength, beat them with cunning.
And look at how we're all pawns in the game. Well, hope you like that little theory. I want to say a big thank you to Kylan Dell on Scarlet Crusade server. She helped me get my character triptych to Il'gynoth to be able to talk to him. He didn't want to talk much, so I just got some footage while we're covering the thing here, talking about Il'gynoth, staring at him. We two-man down Nithendra to get to here, so I owe her a big shout-out and a thank you. If you like this content, give us a like and subscribe. Curious what your thoughts are. Has this all been one long game by the Void Lords and the Old Gods? Or do you think Sage and I are way off base? Do you think Magni really heard Azeroth's voice? Let us know down below. Let's get a dialogue going.
Yeah, and if you have any clue on what to find him, drown yourself in a circle of stars mean, let us know.
Yeah, that's the one whisper we didn't talk about because Sage and I just don't have a clue.
And, hey, if you want to tell us how wrong we are, just let us know. Thanks for watching.